In this video, I'm going to share with you some of the biggest mistakes that I've made throughout my editing career, and these are some of the most common video editing mistakes in general that beginners make. So you want to pay attention to this one and make sure that you avoid all these mistakes, because then you are going to be able to not only save a lot of time for yourself and not having to make all these mistakes, but also a whole lot of embarrassment. So without any further ado, let's jump into mistake number one. Mistake number one that people make all the time is number one, like overusing transitions. So when you see someone adding a transition like every other second pretty much into their edits, it just makes the whole thing look very cheap. You don't need to have a transition between every single cut. Just having a clean cut is perfect as well. Just because your editing software allows you to do these cool transitions doesn't mean that you should be using them that much. And also another mistake people make is putting the transitions at the wrong times, right? So for example, one thing I see all the time is like there is just a talking head video and someone puts a transition between every cut that there is, where they cut out maybe a mistake or a part where the person isn't talking. Mistake number two is not planning out your videos, right? And the reason why I believe that planning out your videos, at least using bullet points, is a huge advantage is because number one, well, it allows you to actually save a lot of time when you're filming, because you know what you're going to be talking about, you know what you should film, right? And not only that, but it will also save you a bunch of time in post-production. You're going to be able to be much more efficient with your editing because there will be less excess that needs to be cut out. And talking about saving time when it comes to content creation, that actually takes us to the sponsor of this video, Filmora 13 by Wondershare. Filmora 13 is basically, in my opinion, one of the best video editors for people who are beginners and newbies, because it makes editing pretty much a breeze, especially with the new AI features that they recently came out with. Pretty much everything that I used to struggle with when I was first starting out with editing, they have an AI feature for, so it makes your editing, like I said, a lot easier. They have an AI vocal remover, so you will literally be able to just drop a song into your project, click the AI vocal remover, and get the instrumentals and the vocal as separate files.
I'm looking outside my window. I'm looking outside my window.
An AI music generator, which literally allows you to describe the mood that you are going for and generate music from scratch. They have AI text-based editing, which basically transcripts your entire video and then allows you to make edits and cuts into it by simply deleting sections that you don't want in your video, which is mind-blowing. It literally makes it so easy to edit. It even has an AI thumbnail generator for your videos, an AI text-to-video feature which allows you to put in a prompt and generate video from it, AI smart masking, and probably my favorite out of them all, the AI Copilot editing. Let me show you how the AI Copilot works. So with the AI Copilot, you can literally just come here to this button, click on it. It's going to open up the Copilot, right? And you can ask it literally any questions when you feel stuck in your editing, and it's going to be able to help you. So for example, I will say I want to add more contrast to my clip, right? And then it's going to spit out the answer on how I can actually do it. So you can see it gave me the instructions. So I'm just going to follow it. I'm going to click on the clip, go to color, and here I'm going to use this contrast slider to add some more contrast to my clip. So as you can see, Filmora 13 can really make editing a whole lot easier. So if you are interested in trying this out for yourself, maybe you're a beginner editor, or maybe you're an artist or a small business owner, this is definitely worth a try. So go ahead and click the first link in the description to sign up and try it out for yourself. Third video editing mistake is not having enough contrast between your text and the background, okay? This is super important. You want to have, number one, ideally fonts that are easy to read, like you want to have a bold font, or if you're going to use a thin font, at least make sure that there is a lot of contrast, like I said, with the background. One easy way to add more contrast between your text and your background is to use either a drop shadow shadow or some form of a background for your text. Like these are two very simple ways, and then it's going to be applicable for literally all types of footage. Or again, just simply make sure that if you are using a white text, make sure your background is much darker. If you're using a dark text, make sure your background is a lot brighter. The whole purpose of the text is that, you know, people can read it, so make sure that it's actually easy to read and don't make it hard on your viewers. Another thing that you can also apply, and it will make your videos look a whole lot more professional, is a gradient. So if you apply a dark gradient, for example, for just the bottom part of your video, like this one, and then you add text on top, well, that's going to look quite professional. And of course, you can not only use this on the bottom of your videos, but basically at any part of them. The next mistake has to do with background music, and there are two parts to this mistake as well. The first one I see a lot of people making, and I made this myself as well plenty of times, is using background music that has vocals in it. So background music with vocals, if you are also speaking in a video and you're using it as that, you know, video's background, it can be super distracting for the viewer because they are basically hearing two voices at the same time. And number two, you don't want to have your background music be too loud. This is another very common mistake where the music almost overpowers the person's voice, and it can be super annoying when you literally have to pay super close attention just to hear what the other person is saying. So make sure, number one, your songs are not too loud. I try to aim with most of the songs or at around like minus 30 decibels. That's kind of what seems to be the right spot for me. But obviously, with every song, there are different audio levels. But I would say around that region is generally pretty good. The next mistake is having a super drawn out intro section, or just in general, like having a long intro, whether it's an animated one or, you know, one with music or montage. Like, it's 2023, 2024 almost. Nobody enjoys watching those like 30-second long intros anymore. So if you look at what the biggest YouTubers are doing, basically what they do is in the beginning of the video, there is a really good hook, and then the hook basically reaffirms the viewer that they are actually going to be getting what was kind of promised in the title of the video. So what you want to do as well is, instead of having like 2 minutes of you just rambling in the beginning of your videos before you would actually get into it, just basically reaffirm the viewer that they are going to be getting what you promised in the title, have a strong hook, and then get right into the actual value. This is going to help you increase your retention a lot. This next mistake is also one that I feel like everybody has made at some point, myself of course included, and that is bad framing in your clips. So framing is basically, you know, where you are placed in the video, or even if it's not a person that's in the frame, in general, you want to have good framing in your videos. So what I recommend you to use is the rule of thirds. So basically, what I see a lot of people doing is they just put their face literally in the center of the video, which doesn't actually look that appealing, and it's just not like harmonious, right? So what you want to use instead is the rule of thirds. But here are some more examples so you get a better idea of what I'm talking about. The next mistake is having underexposed or overexposed footage, and just in general not checking your footage twice before you would hit recording on your final clip, right? And this is a big mistake because the thing is, most people think like, oh, I will just fix it in post. I'm not going to bother to check it one more time before I would actually, you know, film the final video. And the thing is, like, as much as you can do with today's advanced technology, it's still not going to be as good if you fix it in post as if you shot it with the correct settings to start with, right? So you definitely want to just make sure to double check before you would actually shoot the video that you have the correct exposure setting. Another mistake that's very common amongst beginners is leaving in dead space in the video. So you want to make sure that your video is fast paced. You don't want to leave in parts where you are just taking like a break in your speech or where there's nothing happening. If you're trying to make an engaging video, you want to make sure there are no, you know, extra spots left in. And not only that, but also make sure there are no like, you know, little like black spots left in the video because you forgot to get rid of those in your editing. And last but not least, it's leaving in mistakes. So I think a lot of editors out there, they really just can't be bothered by the time they finish their edit to actually like rewatch it one more time. And it kills me when I see someone, sending me an edit, for example, that has misspellings left in it, that has like kind of like dead frames left in it. That's just like a black frame for a few seconds or a few like frames even, or if there's like an audio issue or anything like that, really, because it just makes your entire video look very amateur. If there are a few crucial mistakes like that, again, it can pretty much take everything that was good about your video out the window. So make sure that your video is in sync, right? The voice and the footage is actually in sync. There is no delays there. Make sure that like all the little details are correct as well, and watch the video one more time before you would actually publish it or send it over to a client. Trust me, it can save you a lot of embarrassment. So I really hope you enjoyed this video and you got some value out of it. If you did, make sure to go ahead and follow the channel, subscribe for more content similar to this, and also check out Filmora 13 if you're interested in playing around and trying out their editor. I'm telling you, it's very, very good for people who are beginners. It's very simple to use. So again, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.